and YouTube.
Right.
The CORE of letter U. Like says up there.
Right.
All right. So kick it off, babe.
What's going on, everybody? Glad to see you on Zoom and on Facebook. We thanking you so much for being with us today. The core review is something that wifey and I, it was put in our spirits to start a few years ago. And it's been growing, and we've been just little here and there. We kind of took a break for a little while, but we're back strong, and we're really enjoying this. But we're not going to belong to time with all that. We want to get into balance. And because balance is so important, you know, and for me, it is the true trinity in life is body, soul, mind. Body, soul, mind. If you can get those three entities that seem to always be opposing one another, if you can get those three entities in your life to work together, that's where balance comes in. That's where balance comes in, and it's so important. And you say, why? We thought it was very important right now during this time because we know that there's a crisis. Unless you've been hiding under a rock somewhere, there's a crisis all over the world right now, right? One thing about a crisis is you have to make sure that and hear me good with this, you have to make sure that you observe and not absorb. Because many times in life, what happens during a crisis, it will become a part of your spirit, a part of your soul, and that could cause imbalance for you. Because then you start to, your soul starts to fight against your mind, and your mind is fighting, and then what's going to usually happen is it's going to reflect in your body somehow. And right now, you don't need imbalance, because the one thing that the COVID virus attacks is someone that's less than as far as their immune system. And if you get sick right now, that's the last thing you need during this time. So balance is so important. And we never like to talk about something and how to do it and all that without really talking about what is balance. What is balance? And for the people that are on Zoom, if you would like to, just raise your hand. We may ask a few questions. In fact, I think this would be a great time just to ask the community, if anybody would like to give, what do you think balance is? What is balance to you?
Can I just first say, you dropped a dime right there when you just said making sure that right now during this pandemic, on top of a pandemic, because we're dealing with the coronavirus pandemic, then we're dealing with racial injustice pandemic with the virus of racism. So for me, that has been a struggle since the beginning, like February. I was going into Costco and different stores, and I was feeling the energy shift. Like you could feel panic. You could feel panic coming. And I had to be so careful to literally be conscious and protect myself, because I was getting I was absorbing the environment, and I didn't even realize that it was kind of a frenzy, a chaoticness. And it was really depressing me. I didn't like going out to the stores, looking at when the masks started coming in, when people, seeing the gloves. It just felt like this is not real. Like, what is happening? And then it just could put you over the edge, seeing Black person after Black person murdered on TV while the world is just watching. And so I'm so glad you said that, because that's exactly where a lot of my imbalance was coming from. I wasn't sleeping right. It was getting into my physical. So if anybody else can feel me, I had to go to my community, and they started to talk to me. Other people, women, was saying, yeah, I feel you. It was happening to me. But then I had to be so conscious about first covering myself spiritually when I went out, and then like throwing it away and saying, God, I know this is bigger than me. This is for you. Like, I can't see it right now. And I just had to move to gratitude. Like, I'm grateful for the time with my children. I'm grateful that I still have a source of income. Like, I had to actively combat the imbalance that was rising up in me.
Wow. Beyonce, what do you got? And then Priscilla, we got your hand next. Beyonce, what do you got? What is balance to you? What is balance to you?
I just found out what balance was last week.
Okay.
Because you guys know that my husband renovated me a beautiful home office.
All right.
And what I was doing is I would turn my computer on at 9 in the morning and I wouldn't leave out till 11, 12 at night.
Wow. Wow.
And I was becoming very stressed. I was irritable. I was indecisive. And even though I was getting things done, I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't putting quality into what I was doing. So this is the second week, but a week before last, when Coco and I went on our walk, we had a talk. And I told her, I said, Coco, I got to work smart.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, that's right. You have to work smart and spend time with me and my daddy.
Right.
But what I did was I gave myself a cutoff time,
okay.
8 p.m. So I said, no matter what's going on, it's going to have to wait till the next day.
Okay.
Okay.
And for the last 2 weeks, only one day I didn't do that, and that was the day that I did payroll.
Okay.
That's important, so it was worth the extra time.
There you go.
But I was like Bianca a little bit. I wasn't depressed about what was going on. I was like, God, we're fulfilling the Bible. I said, oh my God, I'm living to see the Bible fulfilled. I was hoping it didn't come while I was here. You know, really, seriously. And I start thinking about how rotten this world is right now. And God is sick of us.
Right, right.
So he said, well, man, if you can't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to give you something to do what I tell you to do.
All right, all right.
So this virus, I do believe, is a manifestation of God's anger with us as being inhumane to one another.
Okay.
Myself included.
Okay.
So I give thanks because the majority of my family and friends, this is where you can give thanks. They're still employed. Millions and millions and millions of people lost their jobs. But my direct family and friends are still working. That is a blessing. So although God is trying to, I don't think, I shouldn't blame it on him. I think what he's trying to do is wake us up.
Okay.
Wake us up.
All right.
So I want her and Coco to stop at 6 for some dinner to be made. Okay.
Oh, I'm glad you touched on that because I am definitely feeling an imbalance of the division of labor within the household. Let's talk about that, ladies. Amen.
Only when it comes to cooking.
Only
when it comes to cooking.
My name is not Sarah Lee. I'm working.
Well, you should make them pork chops and chicken so good. You know how that is.
And for you unmarried women, let me tell you something. Whatever you start doing with your husband, you're going to have to continue to do. So if you start off cooking for him every day, you're going to have to keep on. So don't do it.
Don't scare our single folks away. Marriage is beautiful. You better cook that food for your husband.
Derek, get your hands off her ears. Get your hands off her ears.
All right, Priscilla, what do you got for balance? What do you got for balance?
What I was thinking about with balance is no matter what subject it is, it's all the way left and all the way right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for me, balance is not going too far in either direction.
Okay.
That's what balance is for me.
Okay.
Not going in either direction, too far left or too far right.
And we're going to really get into that because that is imbalance all the way. And for you Bible readers out there, the scriptures don't talk much about balance. The word that's used in the Bible is temperance. That's the word that's used. That's actually a fruit of the Spirit. It's what it talks about love and joy and meekness. Temperance. Temperance is one of those things. And so when we talk about balance, why is it so important? Because when it's two things that will happen, and you guys have already hit on it, B and Beyonce, you guys have already. Does anybody else want to tell me? Anybody else have anything to say on balance? Anything? Anybody else before we move on? Okay, so two things will happen to you when your life is out of balance, when there is imbalance. It's usually two things: frustration and fatigue. frustration and fatigue. When your life, so when you find yourself really fatigued, really, and I'm not talking like after you do like a, 5-mile or 2-mile run, your body is tired, you're supposed to be fatigued. But I'm saying just during your normal course of the day, you're getting up and then you get into this routine and you just all of a sudden like, man, I'm just always so sleepy. I'm always so tired. If you find yourself nodding on the way to work and on the way home from work, that's obviously not good because that can cause an accident. If you're sitting up, and your children are talking to your husband and you falling asleep, all of these things are going on. Fatigue. You need to find where is the imbalance in your life. And the other thing that it causes other outside of fatigue is frustration. When we begin to become frustrated about everything, and there's no person in this world should be frustrated about everything. Nothing is right. I mean, nothing is good. The sun ain't bright enough. It's too hot. The rain is raining too much. The sun, it's too dark. The house is too cold with the AC on. That's frustration. There is an imbalance. You need to go back and check those 3 entities, mind, soul, and body. Which one is out of balance? And if one of those are out of balance, and sometimes it's 2 of those, or sometimes it could be all 3. And so if you're not careful, and if you don't try your best to keep those things in a balance somehow, then you will find yourself once again frustrated and fatigued. So and B is over and she is talking to the people on Facebook, so you'll see her looking over there. I also wanted to talk about that balance and temperance because we all have desires and we all have passions. We all have desires and passions, but balance or temperance, whichever one, you can interchange those 2, right? Balance or temperance causes us not to constantly rearrange our life based on those desires and passions. You understand what I'm saying? If you're constantly rearranging life, because things come about, so some of us are really passionate right now, maybe about Black Lives Matter, you know what I mean, and about race. Some of us are really passionate about that. So you may make a few changes here and there and do a few things different to really pour energy into it because it's a hot topic now. It's trendy. You want to be a part of the movement. That's fine. But when we find ourselves with every little movement that's going on in life, every little thing, we're rearranging our entire life, then you become imbalanced. Yeah. The scripture talks about being steadfast and unmovable, right? You're not set on anything solid. The problem with that is there is no hope for progress, for moving forward. It's like a computer, and I talk about this often in church. It's like a computer. If you open too many apps, after a while, it'll start bogging that computer down. So we have to be careful that we don't have too many apps open.
That's kind of happening to me at work indirectly, although the focus is on racial justice issues. Sometimes as the Black person within your corporate environment or wherever, you become like the go-to on that subject. And I'm starting to feel like, okay, now I can't do everything.
Right.
I got to say no to some of this stuff. I want to read what Rashad said. He said, balance for me is being able to go to work and come home and actually have time to spend with my wife and daughter. I have worked night shift the past 2 to 3 years. So, now he is an entrepreneur able to set his schedule and now he's being able to get that balance.
And that's perfect because balance, if you really have balance in life and your balance is true, you are able to do what you love to do and what you have to do. And not one or the other gets more energy. You're able to, if you go to work, I have to, right? A lot of us don't really want to do those things. We would love to be entrepreneurs and just frolicking with millions of dollars and be like offsetting them and buy our babies Birkin bags for $20,000, but we don't have it like that, right? So we got to go to work. Right. We got to go to work. So that's what we have to do. What we're doing here right now is what we love to do, right? We're doing this because we're trying to invite that energy of balance in our lives. If your spirituality is important to you, you will spend time on it. So that's beautiful what he's saying. I want to be able to go to work and do what I have to do, but I don't want to get home and be so fatigued and so tired and frustrated that I don't have nothing to give to my wife and children. And it's so important that we maintain and watch. We got to watch. You got to be intentional about it because it'll get you in a minute. And look at the world and on the news. We're so inundated with so many different things. We've become a microwave society, and we want everything fast food microwave. We want love fast food microwave. Now you can go to surgeons. You want a body fast food microwave. Don't nobody want to work on anything anymore. Them soul food meals took time to prepare. And then when you ate them, they sit on your stomach for a little while. You have to unbuckle your pants and lay back. You might go to sleep for an hour or two. You ain't doing that too much with McDonald's. You eat McDonald's now, an hour later, you want some more food again. You like, what is this, MSG? What's going on in here? This is ridiculous. I just ate a quarter pounder and a large fry, and I'm hungry again 30 minutes later. So balance is so important. So I want to repeat what I said earlier about we want to make sure that we're not constantly rearranging our lives based on the ongoing influx of our desires and passions, because they're going to be up and down all the time, right? Up and down all the time. All I'm saying, and that's okay that they're up and down. That's okay that you're liking it or maybe giving a little bit, but you don't want to rearrange your entire life around those influxes. That's what, not every single one. Maybe you do one here, maybe you do one there, maybe you do one over here. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So balance it out. And that's another thing about temperance is temperance really means, and balance means moderation. Everything done in moderation.
Chris Williams says, you are the driver of your bus of energy.
Love that. You are the driver of your bus of your energy. That is very, very powerful. He wants to link.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know for me, I have to take balance moment by moment. Last week, I was feeling like, oh my God, I am not being a good mother or parent at all to my children. And shout out to Auntie Priscilla, because she just, in a random conversation, said, look, you're taking them to work with you every day. You might be working from home, but the children are going to work with you every day. And I said, wow, just that shift in perspective kind of brought me back down to be forgiving of myself. Don't beat myself up while I'm in the midst of this spiritual fight. Understand that some days it's going to be more to the family. Some days it's going to be more to work, but at least they're happy, they're fed, and the necessities are taken care of. But that gave me, so I guess I bring that up because sometimes if we just shift our perspective, it can allow us to digest what's going on. Because just that little shift was what I needed in that moment to get through.
Right. And I mean, and so that's what it is. It's when your deepest principles, your deepest principles hold your passions in check. That's what's going on. Your deepest principles begins to hold your passion in check. It won't let it get out of hand. Go ahead, Peggy. Go ahead.
One thing I'll say to you, Bianca, is another way to shift it shift it all the way around, is that you don't understand how much those two children are getting from having your presence in the home, whether you're working or not. You're there because they have been going to school and childcare, so you guys saw each other in the evening for a couple hours. You're there, they're there with you in the house while you're working, and they can reach out and touch you, and just to know you there. Do you understand the comfort that gives them? And it's going to be hard when they have to go back.
Well,
because it's such a beautiful thing for them right now.
That's true. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And what's interesting is I realized that this was actually the answer to a prayer or a thought that manifested because I had been able to spend 5 months with each of my children right when they were born. And I said to myself, gosh, because of their age difference, I'll never be able to have that time with both of them together. And man, I sit and chuckle to myself. I was like, God, I didn't want it like this, but I'll take it. It just like hit me like a little spiritual revelation,
Leaford on Facebook asks, how often do our desires and passions really change? And that's a great point. And that's what I mean by balance. They really shouldn't change that much all the time. That's my point. If they are, there's a real good chance that you're out of balance, right? And I love what he's saying. He's saying because balance, he says, how often do our desires and passions really change if we're truly locked in and see that? So what you're saying is if we have balance in these things, shouldn't much change. But if you look around at people, man, people are like the wind. They're just blowing. If the wind goes right, they're right. If it goes left, they're left. Very few people in your life really are just set and stable. You know what I mean? And you know, now if you have a friend, or if you're that friend or that person, keep them close. That's a good person to have, because when stuff hits the fan, as it's doing right now in life, you want to be around somebody, or maybe you want to be that person that can be grounded and rooted and stay focused. And I love that. And he said, I believe I'm having to recalibrate now. And that's a great point. I think a lot of us had to recalibrate, looking around and watching the news and seeing all the things that's going on. We had to recalibrate. That's what wife was saying. I had to recalibrate. She had to recalibrate her work schedule. I had to recalibrate coming home and what I did. And we all had to change and recalibrate. And that's a great thing. And it's important to acknowledge that it's time to recalibrate. But what you don't want to do is recalibrate so much that you forget what's important, that you lose yourself. Recalibrate and allow what's going on in society or in the world or in turmoil or whatever to lose yourself. You don't want to lose yourself. Yeah. That's the thing I'm saying. So with balance, the hope, the prayer is that you will maintain you in spite of all that's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, we recalibrated just this past couple of weeks because it was like in the beginning, like I had to kind of go subject by subject. At first, I was like, okay, I'm watching too much news.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta swing this back. I'm watching too much news.
Yep.
Then it seemed like right now there's a spiritual up-leveling. It's feeling good to do Bible studies, doing the church, being able to participate in church virtually, classes. I just feel like naturally there's this up-leveling going on, and there's a repositioning of certain people. But we started adding the working out because it was like, wait a minute, like Auntie Beyonce said at first, it was like we were working and everything was going till 10, and we were forgetting about self-care in the physical, and it was making us more tired. So we were like, come on, let's just reshift. We may not get our morning workout in, but let's do it no matter what in the evening.
No doubt.
And it kind of up-leveled the spiritual a little bit.
And that's a great segue, because I got one of my partners on that we haven't even met in person yet, but I consider him my brother on here, the Heart Warrior, Mr. Christopher Williams. What you got for us, brother? Glad you're on with us today, man.
Thank you for having me on. And thank you for doing what y'all been doing. It's been amazing. We need more like this. I just wanted to speak on the whole COVID thing and balance. Me personally, as I've been taking, you know my story, Ken. I was quarantined for 8 months. The one thing I learned was the worst way you can be is isolated. That's when the devil attacks you the most. Mm-hmm. And I felt with the whole COVID, God is not punishing us, but he's making us learn, respect the things we have that we was taking advantage of.
Okay.
So yes, we had to draw back and sit, find a new hustle. So find that thing that you are passionate about.
Right.
I made that step. I wasn't happy getting up and going to work every day. Why am I doing it? I had to find that balance. I was, like you said before, you coming home, you working all the hours for somebody else, and I'm coming home angry, tired, and checking out on my family. Right. It was time for me to make that jump. Right. That's not fair to them.
Right.
And I was putting my responsibility, my happiness in somebody else's hands.
Amen.
That's my responsibility.
That's right.
So I had to make that jump. I released the book. It's been the best thing I've done. And now I'm doing my personal training stuff.
Right.
But if it wasn't for COVID, and I hate to say that, for me to go sit down and see what I value. The most important thing we got in life that we value is time.
Yes.
That's one thing we cannot get back. So you give something your time, you're not gonna give it back.
Yeah.
So you take all 86,000, whatever it is that we get every day, you spend it wisely.
That's
You
right.
spend it wisely. And that's one thing the Lord is showing us. It's gonna be learning about patience.
Right. Right.
Sit down somewhere, you know what I'm saying? But the imbalance thing, y'all speaking the truth. Cause I was like that. I made that mistake with my first son. He turned 22 on Monday. I got custody of him when he was 3 years old. But back then, I was working 4 or 5 jobs, trying to just give him everything that he wanted.
Okay.
But only thing he wanted was my time.
That's it.
Because time is the most valuable gift that we can give somebody.
That's right.
True.
And I made that mistake when I told him. I said, Jameer, you was my first one. So we don't have a playbook how to raise kids.
Right.
And you don't have a playbook how to be a son.
Right.
And so we learned growing together. And I was blessed enough. I mean, all the things I done put him through with my health.
Wow.
He's in the Army. You know what I'm saying? He just got back from the Army. I feel so good about that we made it.
Right.
But I hate to say he was my guinea pig at first. I know now that these kids need my time. So God told me to go sit in the house for 6 months with this COVID and be with my boys.
All right.
Get a hold of them, you know what I'm saying? But get that balance. That balance is what gonna keep you going. And yes, we do change.
That's right.
I mean, I found my purpose. I mean, once you find your purpose, you know you found your purpose.
Yeah, it is.
That's I always learned, I always believe that once you find that meaning in life, your purpose is to give it away. Just like what y'all doing.
Oh, I love that.
So
just like what y'all doing. Y'all are giving away. Y'all giving this information away. Y'all done found y'all purpose. Y'all found your need. Y'all speaking. You know, sometimes I jump on, I might not say something, but I listen. You know what I'm saying? So please keep doing what you're doing. There's people, somebody out there in this world, there's 3 billion some people in the world. Somebody out there needs to hear this.
all right.
Each and every last single one that's on this call right now has a story that somebody needs to hear.
That's true.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. We all have a story.
Right.
We all got something that we need to share. The most richest place in the world is the graveyard. We lost so many scientists, somebody knew about somebody probably passed away. They had the fix for COVID.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got so many stuff that we let the graveyard take from us.
That's right.
Because we don't release it out.
Right.
And I've been passionate about it. I learned that. I learned that when I was in the hospital for 8 months straight.
Wow.
But yeah, but keep doing. I just wanted to jump on here. That's why I want to zoom in to tell you, keep doing what you're doing. I love it. I know a bunch of people love it. Y'all need y'all on talk show. I'm saying, I need to find y'all a producer or agent or something. Get y'all on Fox 4 or something. But this is amazing. This is amazing.
We appreciate.
So that's all I had to say. I'm not gonna take the storm away. So.
No,
appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And that's what there's a movie that we love, and I probably watch it all the time that talks about that time. It's from it's Justin Timberlake in it. It's called In Time. It's a great movie, man, because they pay with everything in life with time, and they have it on their wrist. It's an excellent movie. If you get a chance, check it out because it'll teach you just so much beautiful things. Beautiful things it'll teach you. Derek has something? No, he did.
Derek always got something. Unmute him.
I was just agreeing with you. I saw that movie and it changed my whole perspective on things because they were paying for everything with minutes of their life.
I know, right?
Yeah.
They were stealing time from one another. I mean, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Time is so valuable, such an excellent movie. And so that's what this balance is all about. It's the question you have to ask yourself every morning. How can I survive? How can I survive and be happy? How can I survive and be happy, right?
Well, in one of my meditations, I would even twerk that a little bit to say, how can I thrive?
Okay.
Because really, we want to get, and that's kind of piggybacking on what Chris was saying.
Okay.
When you're in purpose, you go from surviving to thriving.
Okay. I like that.
You go to actually where you wake up and you're like, all right, I get to do this. Where am I going to get my blessing and where am I going to give my blessing? So it shifted. I was like, yes, I'm moving from survival mode to thriving mode. And I'm looking for that. I don't do it every day. I don't got it perfect, but at least it's a goal.
Okay.
Before it wasn't even a goal.
Wow. And one of the last things I'll say about imbalance and then we'll start to get on there's 5 areas of balance, 5 areas in your life where you want to have balance. We want to make sure that we don't just give information, but we want to give application. A lot of times we go to places and we get a bunch of information with no application, right? So we want to make sure that we don't want to leave you out there stranded where you don't have application, right? But one of the last things I'll say imbalance is, I was looking at a picture of a potato that had been left out, and your life will be much like that potato that's been left out. It'll be overexposed and underdeveloped. Overexposed and underdeveloped if you don't maintain balance.
Okay.
If you don't have balance, it'll stay. Everything that you try to do, you won't be able to make it to the pinnacle. You'll get halfway, 75%, but you won't make it to the pinnacle. That's the underdeveloped part, right? The overexposed part is you just being fatigued and just being frustrated all the time because you're just overexposed to a whole bunch of everything and a bunch of different emotions. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't want to be like that bad potato that's left out. We want to make sure that we maintain balance. Go ahead, Piante.
I want to say to the young man, Brother Christopher Williams, God bless you. I thank God that he brought you through. I thank God that he opened your mind. Mm-hmm. I thank God that he gave you your sons back, even your oldest son. As he gets older and more mature, he'll understand what you were doing and why you did it. But it's never too late to spend time with him, and I just thank God for you. I'm so happy to hear that you made it through, because a lot of our people aren't. You got a testimony, my brother. You got to get out there and tell people about what God has done for you.
Yes, I have seen you guys his link for his book. He has a great testimony. Definitely.
And I want to say something that he said. I was in my 50s when I found my purpose on this earth. Mm. And I think that Bianca, Priscilla, Danita, and others who have known me for years will know how my personality changed when I became a community activist. Mm. Because that was my calling. And I didn't know it until I got into my 50s. I've always been a revolutionary at heart. Mm-hmm. But I never knew where to go, and God sent me to my tribe. Okay. I love my job. Right. I like working every day. I couldn't say that years ago. Okay. So I love working for the people. I love being out there in the street. I love getting arrested, all of that. Thank you, Brother Christopher, for saying that, because when you know your purpose, you'll know it.
Yeah, a lot of people get scared from their purpose because it's gonna come with pain. It's always purpose and pain. It's just like when you go work out, you got to go through pain to get strong. Right. God's not gonna give you that blessing until you know that you ready for it. So just like people don't wake up and ask for breast cancer. That test chooses you. You know what I'm saying? And so that chooses you. So when it chooses you, he know you're gonna get through it. You need to go share that with somebody else. He told me to go through 2 heart transplants. Wow. And so I'm doing my best to share that. And especially with us young Black brothers and females, our Black culture, it's a lack of knowledge. That's right. So that's what I do. I go out and speak to schools in the inner city and stuff like that, teaching them about the stuff we eat and stuff like that, stuff I didn't know. But the point is, that purpose is always there for everybody. We just can't be as scared of it. It's gonna be there. And also what I wanted to say too, if y'all can give Kenny everybody's address to him, I'll make sure I send a book on me to everybody that's on the call. And that'll be on me. That'll be on me. I just released a book called 10 Deadly Weapons of a Heart Warrior. And it's about 10 different things I did when I was in the hospital to get through my storm. Okay. Where I had to learn that the storm has to run out of rain eventually. And on the other side of that storm is gonna be sunshine and my breakthrough. And so I had to get prepared for it. That's what the book is about. So, but yes, so thank you very much.
All right.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
Those who can pay for the book. We have to stop. We have to support Black businesses. We can't always get the hookup. So those who can buy the book, buy the book. Support this brother. He got sons.
Yeah, we got him. We got him. We got him. Is he talking? I think he's talking.
You know that you're not worried about the money part of it, because I know God's gonna bless you with it. You know what I'm saying? If I see people that I like to read or I know needs to read it, I want to take money. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get that. It's gonna come to me. He don't bring that to me in a different form. So it's more of a joy that you just read it. You know, so I'm saying that's why I don't I don't worry about money. So Kenneth will tell you that. But yeah, I want to make sure each last one of y'all get a copy of my book.
We got one address already, man. So I'll be
this message me and I'll get them in the mail.
I got you. Okay, so let's keep going on in this balance. We don't want to hold you guys. Is there anybody else that has anything on that balance on there? And how are we doing? We love you, Facebook family. On with us live and all that we're talking about and everything. We're responding to you, so we enjoy it. So the next thing I think that where we'll go with this is there's 5 areas of balance, 5 areas in your life where you want to be balanced. I'll name them first and then we'll just go through them. Mental balance, physical balance, spiritual balance. Spiritual and mental is different. A lot of people don't think that, but they are very different. So mental, physical, spiritual balance, emotional balance, and social balance. Those are the 5, pretty much whatever you're going through, where balance is needed or where there's an imbalance or whatever's going on, it's gonna be in those 5 areas. So let's talk about first, mental balance. Mental balance. I read the Bible, so I like to give scripture sometimes, but I also love life lessons. But one of the great lessons and one of the great scriptures I think that talks about this and mental balance is this. The scripture says this: as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And we have to, and I don't like to tell people what they have to do, but if balance is going to be your goal, we have to be better of what's going on up here in our mind. We have to be better what's going on with the things that goes on in our mind. That's why I will watch the news for a little while, make sure they ain't burning my city up, make sure I ain't got to get in my car, get the kids and grab the computer and anything else and grab my wife and throw her up on top of the car and tie her down so we can go. I gotta, whatever it is in the news, I gotta make sure we gotta get out of here. They ain't doing anything crazy to us. I watch the news for that. But after a while, I turn it off because mentally, it's just too much crazy stuff going on in this world, y'all. It just really is. And the thing that always bothered me about news is it's an hour long, and sometimes they have, but most of them an hour long. They give you 48 minutes without the commercials of all of this bad stuff and give you 2 minutes of good. 48 minutes of everything bad, and I know that's what the viewers want. That we drive that. That's why reality TV is just gone out of its mind, because we want to see people fighting and arguing and putting each other down. Just mentally. If we don't have balance mentally, and so you got to find a way. Pick up a book, challenge your mind. I do word puzzles. Whatever it is that you can, strengthen your mind. Strengthen your mind to make sure that you find mental balance. That's one of the things that we're doing with our children right now. And Bill be like, we got to make sure we stimulate the children. We got to make sure we stimulate the children. We also have to make sure that we stimulate ourselves. Mm-hmm. So this right here, what we're doing is part of our mental balance, okay? Mental balance. Next on the list is physical balance. Physical balance. As Chris can attest to as a trainer, we got to get out, we got to walk, we got to run, lift some weights, do whatever you need to do, right, to get the physical balance. Here I am again, another scripture. know ye not that your body is a temple of the living God? So if it was important to him, it should be important to you, right? We have to take care of our bodies. So mental balance and physical balance. I got news for you. I got news for us all. If you don't take care of your body, it could shut your mental down.
Yeah, you're right on that.
You won't be as effective mentally if you don't take care of your physical body. Somebody got something?
Yeah, we got a comment from Jonette. You have to be conscious of your own thoughts in order to change them.
I like that.
He said, I'll send them to confusion together. So those are two different statements.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious to know, before you move on, what are people on the Zoom doing, if anyone wants to share, to stay when mental and what are you doing in either one of those areas?
So let's put those together. What are you doing to stay mentally balanced and physically balanced? Go ahead, Chris. What you got?
You know, for me, starting back off when I first got out for the transplant stuff, I had to find a temple. And what I mean by temple, that was my place to go where I would block out every single thing I'm got going on. Mm-hmm. So my temple became the gym. So I found me a routine to do. So every morning, I get up at 3:30 in the morning, get to the gym, all my stuff is blocked out. I'm getting focused, my day's about to get started. And that helps me the most, even though I had to be careful with it. You know, the devil attacks the most when we're in isolation. Mm-hmm. Learn that real quick. Mm-hmm. But the gym right now helps me get to my mental state and stuff. And I don't look at, like, if I'm having a bad day, I don't say I'm having a bad day. I'm having a character building day.
Okay.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? It must have been something I needed to learn that day. So I have a character building day. So I'm building more character.
I like that.
I don't let anything erupt my peace. Try not to, unless it's harming my family. Right. And me, I've just always been one to just look at the positive side of stuff. When it comes to mental health, I hit that depression wall. You know, I was chemically messed up, where I had to go see a psychiatrist after my transplant. So I hit that wall, and that was a scary thing. That's right. That was more scary than my heart transplants.
Wow.
Because you sitting there and you fighting with your mind, left and right, and then you taking out on your wife and your kids and stuff, like you really can't do nothing.
Right.
So I had to figure something out.
Right.
And what was my favorite thing I like to do? Go work out. So I started working out again.
That's right.
Put myself in that environment and changing my soil around me so I can grow. I was hanging around the wrong people that was bringing me down. I need to be around people that I know, that I look to, and be the soil for growth. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? So that helped me out a lot mentally. Not that I need them to do stuff for me. I just needed to learn.
Okay.
You know, and be in a position where you are willing to learn.
Right.
So
I like that, man. I've been fortunate in my life to run 2 marathons. A lot of people don't know that. I run 2. And one of the things that I ran that happened to me in the first marathon is I ran into what they call the wall. It's not physical. Physical, I was in shape and can do it. But mentally, I ran into a wall and, man, felt like everything in me wanted to give up and get down. And I was at like mile 16, and it was tough. I had to get over that. And once I was able to get over that at about 16 and a half miles, I was able to finish the marathon, and I finished it strong. But mentally, even though I had prepared physically, it was no way for me to prepare for that mental wall that I hit in that marathon. And that was tough, man. It was tough. It felt like it almost shut everything down. So mental, physical balance. Anyone else? Oh, Leifer, you got yourself on muted. You got something you want to say? No?
Just listening.
Okay. All right. So nobody else? All right. So we got mental balance. We got physical balance. And the next one is spiritual balance. And the reason why you hear me say spiritual and mental is different is because there are a lot of intelligent people or knowledgeable people, but they lack spirituality. And what I mean by that is my mentor, and I go back to him a lot, Bishop Alan Cox. I can put you in a car and give you the book and tell you that this is the steering wheel, this is the key to turn it on, this is the pedal, this is the brake. all of that. And I can give you a book and you can pass the test on how to drive. But once you get in there and actually drive and begin to learn and feel and experience it and get the spirit of driving, you'll be a horrible driver. You can get to a green light and there's a car over here that may be going along. And if you're not spiritually balanced, mentally you'll say, I have the green light, I have the right of way. But spiritually, you're looking at this car and experience is saying, but this car is not slowing down. Even though I have the right of way, it's not slowing down. So you can be fool enough if you want to say, I got the right of way and drive out in that intersection and then get mad at them when it's an accident. Or you can say, you know what? Spirit is telling me to step back and just slow my roll a little bit, let them go on through, and then I'll proceed on. So it's so important that we nurture our spirituality. So not only do we pick up a book, maybe you're not a person that really maybe you're not a person that goes to church a lot. Maybe you're not a big time person in God. Maybe you're not a big person that believes in prayer. What is it that you can do to nurture your spirituality though? And a lot of times it starts with the people you hang around with.
Ooh, like you said, what soil are you getting planted in?
Yeah.
And like I got one of my close girls on, Shannon, and what I love is that we can be going months, but then we'll just pick up, start talking, and then just go there. And
Right.
just to go there across the conversation. I'm really an iron sharpens iron person.
I love it.
So like right now we're in a class, many of us here on the phone, called How Do You Live Your Best Life? I love drinking from other cups.
Okay.
That can give me something,
right.
Just something to help me on my walk. That's right. How I help do spiritually. Little sermons through the day. I want Auntie Priscilla to give us something. She'll send us a sermon.
Right.
So, and just drop it into our text. And next thing you know, that's my little snack for the day.
There it is.
Just a little word. I have on an app on my phone that'll pop up quotes. I have a quote one, and I have one that I don't even know how I got there for scriptures. And it'll just send me something, and I'm like, okay, it's a little something to just feed my spirit. It don't have to be long, but something to kind of bring back my mind and have me just be mindful.
And I often ask people, spirituality is everything. You and I will get into conversations. It's why we're doing this right now, because our spirituality, because we were being challenged within our own spirits, and we were challenging and feeding off one another. And it was like, okay, it's something that we've conceived here, that we have here in the spirit. We got to get this out.
Right.
And so that's why we get so excited. I was excited all day about getting to this, because this is what I love to do. It's my passion, and right. I love to do this. And I have my little notes and all of these things, because I want to make sure that that when we talk about this, and as somebody was saying before, balance is it's necessary. It is it's pivotal, especially at times right now, right. Because when you don't have balance, when you're not balanced, I was even looking at a picture, and I get little things like this all the time. I was looking at two pictures. I was looking at a table with one leg up under the middle, okay. And I was looking at one with four legs. And if the table with the one leg in the middle were to get knocked off, that table would fall.
Okay.
The other one with the four legs, if you knock down one, there's still a good chance that table can stand. So what that was letting me know is, in my spirituality, don't just have one source of spirituality that I stand on.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Okay. Make sure that I surround myself, my community of restoration and enlightenment, with people. That way, if one get knocked off over here, or maybe they come disconnected, or maybe they're imbalanced, then I got some more over here that can keep holding me up.
I like what you said. There was there's this coach out there, and he said, don't just be grateful, activating your gratefulness. So say if there's somebody you're thinking about or something that crosses your mind, take that second to let them know. Don't just hold it in you. Send the text, send the note. I love my spiritual sister Danita. That's something she is so good at doing. She did it last night. And I'll be like, I'm so glad I'm on this journey with you.
Right.
And he made me, because I feel like I'm moving fast still, or right now, even with everyone at home, there's so much to do still.
Right.
So I'm challenging myself and all of you on here. Don't just be grateful for yourself or others, express it. Like I'll tell my husband, you know what, thank you, you are going out the house every day, or I appreciate that. I don't want to take anything for granted. Like I don't want to take it for granted that you just get up and come back, because you don't have to. None of us have to do anything.
Right.
Like it's nice that I'm in communion and community with all of you, because we're pushing one another, and I'm grateful for all of you being on here, because we couldn't be a community by ourselves.
That's right.
And we couldn't be enlightening. I don't want to enlighten myself. Right. I want to be pushed, and you're pushing me.
Right.
Shannon, Priscilla, Danita, y'all got anything? I'm putting y'all on the spot, but I want to hear from some of the ladies. The men is just getting in there. Anybody?
Not yet. Well, wait, we got 2 more, so I'm sure they'll give us something. So we've done mental, physical, and spiritual. The next one is emotional balance. But Danita, you got something before we go there? You had your hand up? Go ahead.
So I was just gonna add to, when I feel like I sent you, I love you. I sent it to Cup too. I just feel like I just send out love, just so you guys know that I love you. If nobody else knows, I know you do, but I love you. Just, make sure everybody holding on and stuff. So I do that for myself too, because I get it back. Oh, I appreciate you. I'm like, oh, okay, and I appreciate you guys appreciate me, and then that makes me think, okay, somebody loves me too,
Right.
That's it. That's all I had.
And I think it's one of your gifts too, DB, because you do it at a time where I know that it has to be spirit led.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like, you may not know it, but definitely keep doing it. We got another natural giver on. I know she's quiet, but Aunt Tammy over there, she's one that'll just cook you a meal in a minute or drop something off. For the giving hearts, that is a ministry.
Right.
Like how you minister to others. That's why I appreciate the text, and Auntie Beyonce, she'll just bake a cake for somebody out the blue.
Right.
Like a lot of us, I think, don't even value enough those small acts that carry other people. Like they carry other people. Your smile, how many of you have heard testimonies or seen on Facebook testimonies that somebody said, I was going to kill myself if I walked out the door and came back and I gave a test. If nobody during this walk smiles at me or says hello, if nobody sees me,
wow,
I'm going to kill myself.
Wow.
How many of us have heard those testimonies? I know I've seen a few, so I don't underestimate even the value of giving a smile. There has been times, and even Lyric said to me, she's like, I smiled at that person. I said hello to that kid, and they didn't say hello back.
Right.
I said, that's okay, baby. You just keep doing it because that's what you wanted to do.
That's right.
And I have to remember that too. Don't do it with reciprocity in mind.
I love it. Uh-oh, there it is, Shannon. Go ahead.
Get in, mama.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, am I unmuted or am I still muted?
No, there. We got you.
Oh, okay, I'm starting to act like my mama. So I was thinking about the mental and physical before we move on, and it's interesting that COVID occurred. And there's been a lot going on in my life over the last so many months. My brother passed away in February from cancer, and he battled brain cancer for about 5, almost 6 years, and was put in hospice. So I was back and forth between Texas and California, just trying to, keep his spirits uplifted and just trying to be available and, with my entire family. And then COVID happened, which is interesting because he passed February 8th and we buried him on February 22nd, which is just before everything was shut down.
Right,
and so even after that, with just being stressed or sad, and then I started feeling like, really, I didn't feel anything. I just felt detached and just felt like I didn't feel anything, really, not sad or anything. But then I started thinking about, well, he fought a good fight, but also the fact that shutting down all the cities and states and being quarantined happened afterward, it gave us an opportunity to actually bury him and everybody be there. But then I wasn't sleeping very well. You know, I wasn't eating, I was losing weight. And then I got laid off from my job. And so there was a lot of things happening, but in the midst of it, it gave me an opportunity to, one, just to sit down, because I've been moving way too much, doing too much. I'm always doing too much. I'm always moving. I'm always taking care of this or taking care of that. And so it gave me an opportunity to just sit down, reflect, spend time with my family. My kids were home, obviously. My husband was home. He's a teacher. And it actually has been helpful to be able to just sit, be still, start thinking about the good things that are happening, even in the midst of all of this, right? The fact that I needed that time. And what that has done is helped me just sort of get my mental back in order to where I'm okay sleeping again. I still need to be a mother. I still need to be a wife. I still need to have some time for me and just not be so stressed. But what has happened is it just helped me to become more positive about what is happening, you know, instead of thinking of things that aren't happening. What are the pluses? There's so many good things that have occurred over the course of this time, even with all the stuff that's been going on. So that has helped me to sort of balance, in essence, because I didn't even think about how out of balance I've been for probably quite a while, if I really am honest, because I'm always moving. I'm always taking care of this. I'm always doing this and doing that, or super tired by the end of the day. By the time I finally get some time to just relax, it's midnight. And so I think all of that has just brought me to a point where I can actually sit down, reflect, think of things that are positive, and understanding that, again, my mental, my thoughts, what I say, you know, and what I'm thinking, and not allowing negative thoughts to enter my head, because, again, I can control what's happening. If I hear something, if I'm thinking something, I redirect my thought. I think about other things. I pray. I talk about being grateful and things of that nature, and which is something that has helped me to start even more so talking to my kids about, because now I can actually put it into play. And then physically, I actually just started walking. I finally got my butt up and started walking around just to do something, because, again, that also was therapeutic, not just to keep my body in order and just to make sure I'm walking so many miles a day, but just also mentally it's been helpful. So that's
powerful. Thank you for that powerful share. There was so much into that.
I know,
but
right?
There was purpose in this. I mean, there definitely is so many nuggets we could go in there and shells. That's one of the things. Gratefulness and just trying to look for the blessing and all that is the only way that's like my go-to thriving mechanism. I'm gonna say that instead of survival. I appreciate that share. That's really turning pain into purpose, what you talked about.
And that kind of leads to, it's kind of a segue into our next one with the emotional balance. Emotional balance is a combination of confidence and contentment. It's a combination of confidence and contentment. So a lot of times in our life, when we're emotionally imbalanced, we're either not happy about something or we're not confident enough. And so it has us always frustrated. And so then we're not happy because, and our emotions, and, you know, people walk outside and I'm just not confident about the way I look. I'm not confident about my knowledge. I'm not confident enough in my gifts, all of those things. And so then I respond when I feel like maybe they're under attack, my gifts or whatever that is that I'm not confident in, I respond in an emotional way. You know what I mean? Right. And a person is they're not even going there. Now you've allowed your emotions, really, now you're set up in ego. And now when you're set up in ego and you're not content and you're not confident, and I tell the members of the church all this time, you always have to definitely be careful of those, because that's where the enemy really will try to get you. He will try to get you discouraged, and that's it. And if he can get you discouraged, man, you're in trouble then. So when you're emotionally stable, what happens is when you have emotional balance, you're not easily blown away by crisis. There's nothing a crisis. I mean, you can see it. And I can say, like I said before, you can observe it, but you won't absorb it. I see it. I see COVID. I know that it's real. I know that it's taking people's lives. it makes me a little sad because I love humanity, and I wish that no one had to leave, especially not through this way. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wish that they could just live out their life and do things and all of that. So I see it, but I'm not going to take that pain on. I'm not going to take that away with me, away from the situation where now every day I become depressed, or I'm sad, or I'm down. And now it can definitely overwhelm you. It can overwhelm you, and then the next step after that is it'll mess around and take you out of here. So you have to really, really, really be careful. And that's why the spiritual balance is so important, because meditation and prayer allows us to really navigate and to interact with our emotions in a holistic way. Okay, you acknowledge it. All right, I'm feeling some kind of way about this. All right, why am I feeling some kind of way? Then what am I going to do about it? Can I really change it? Nope, not at all. And our pastor, I love when he says the greatest control that we can ever have is self-control.
Yeah.
If I don't have self-control, at least I know I can't control anybody else. Yeah. So I really need to just work on my control anyway, right? So then moving on from spiritual, our last one, I'm sorry, no, we got another one. We did emotional, then the last one is social balance. And this one is so important because regardless of if you are an introvert or someone that likes to be alone or likes to spend time by yourself, we were not made to navigate life by ourselves. We were not. We were made, now you might not be a person that was made to be with a whole bunch of people. You know what I mean? Maybe if you get you one good friend in life, cherish that, because that's enough. But some of us have been blessed with multiple people in our lives. But social balance, we can be successful in every area of our lives, but consistently neglect relationships. And it's so important. We can be good, and I've seen people that become millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, and the one thing that they go back and say, I wish I would have had somebody on this journey with me. I was so focused. I was so focused on the goal that I forgot to enjoy the journey. And I didn't have anybody that was along the journey with me. And so I always say that for me, that's why marriage is so great, because it allows me to tackle the problems of the world with somebody else. I'm not alone, right? And if you have a mother, a father, sister, brother, a great friend, children, whatever it is, some of you, if you just got a dog will show you good love. It'll show you real. When you come home from a hard day's work, he's wagging his little tail. You like, at least somebody in this world love me. And that's a good feeling. So social balance. And I want you guys to catch this part. I want you really, really to catch this about social balance. We're constantly saying yes to people that don't really matter. But in essence, what we're really doing is saying no to the people who really do matter.
Ooh, that goes back to that time allocation that Chris was talking about.
All right. So when we are constantly saying yes to people that don't matter, and trust me, guys, there are people that don't matter, and they want to. They're energy suckers. They're like vampires. Emotional vampires. Yeah. So when we're constantly saying yes to people that don't matter, we're essentially saying no to people who do matter. Because the people that do matter are looking at you saying, you wasting all your time with these people over there, and they don't really love you.
I have to make sure I don't do that with work.
With work?
You know, that's my one of my blind spots. Leaford, Pastor Alvin, Seal. I wish we could hear from Al Goodwin. He's one of our golden jewels, but I know if he want to get in on this, but Leaford, yeah, what you got for us, man?
So I was just kind of sitting and I wanted to make sure I heard everything. With all this, and I know we say balance, I usually don't say balance.
Okay. That's what you say.
I don't necessarily believe in balance. Well, my definition of balance might be a bit different. First off, the thing we have to first do in everything is define value, right? So if you can't define value, then you don't know how to set everything up. So I'm an entrepreneur intrinsically, right? So I build everything backwards. I reverse engineer everything. Okay. I grew up in a poor community. I didn't see what I wanted to become. Did everything opposite from all the people that I didn't want to be like, right? So I've learned to build things backwards. It's like reading a book. right? Best way to read it is from beginning to end. Best way to understand it backwards. So for myself, I learned to define value. So you alluded to something that was super important, and the thing I value most is my time, right? So I value my time. Now, when I say balance, I don't believe balance is intrinsic. That's why it gives us something to rebel against. That's why it gives us something to work against every single day, right? So we're constantly in pursuit of this because at different times in life, things change, right? Society changes. We change as individuals. I'm different at 42 than I was at 21. Value, right? So, and then lastly is we have to truly know ourselves to know if we're synced, because I don't believe balance means equal. Balance to me means to sync things together, because we have different propensities and proclivities. Okay. So I'm sitting and I'm looking at this thing right here. So the core things to me are mind, body, and soul: mental, physical, spiritual. Every single thing else takes care of itself. I don't worry about the hills. I focus on the valleys. Right. Okay. I gotta climb out the valleys. When you at the hills, it take care of itself. Like, I don't think about survival, yo. I have everything I need to survive. My goal is to exacerbate it, to live, and to amplify. So how I'm set up mentally is, like, right now what we're getting to see is who people really are, because you can truly only be tested in a crisis, right? When stuff is good, you don't need character. Those things are not needed when stuff is good. It's easy to be good when stuff is good, right? Let me see you get broken. Let me see how you move. So for myself, when I look at this thing we call balance, it's something that we wake up and we got to have a vigorous pursuit of it. And it has to be perpetual, but it has to be intentional. Okay, you don't get better on accident, right? So for myself, right?
Say that again.
You don't get better on accident.
Say that again. You don't get better on accident.
Just don't. It has to be a desire, and that's why I said, if your desires and goals are changing, you really don't know yourself, yo. You don't know yourself, because we don't have that much time to keep changing passions, desires, and all that. And you're gonna know what your passion is, and your passion ain't gotta be your passion. I've learned in life does not have to be your occupation. That's right. True. A lot of people try to make it with money. So what I'm truly learning is that I use the thing that I'm strongest at as an apparatus to pursue everything else. It's easy for me to work out. So if I'm feeling down, I'll just go work out. It's easy for me to read books because it's a part of what I do, right? Where I struggle with, because you said something that was vital. You said you can understand things intellectually, but you could have no spiritual connection to them. So for a long time, I've had an intellectual relationship with God, but spiritually, I know how I was moving though. You feel me? Like, I can talk to you the right way, but you know, if it's jump, I can get ignorant with you too. So I knew that I didn't have the restraint because I didn't have a spiritual understanding of it. But the more I study is, I know that an emotional man is a far man from God, yo. Like, so I'm not like overly emotional individual, but we learn those things in time. And that's not to knock somebody that don't maneuver like me. I'm only telling you my story, yo. And we're so unique as individuals, we can sit here all week long and still don't figure it out. That's the beautiful thing about it. At the end of the day, you know, everybody on this feed, and I think this is dope because this represents community. We ain't nothing but illustrations for people that are struggling with things that we do easy. Period, point blank. That is it, right? We are nothing but walking illustrations because you cannot become what you can't see. So I would expect people, when you go through struggles, show them off. Right. Okay? Show them off, yo. Show those struggles off, man, because somebody need them. Like, with me and talking to people, it's always been easy, but some people struggle with that, yo.
Right. That's right.
I've learned to not really care what people think. That's why I talk to them so easy. I don't care. Right. They don't have an opinion anyway, but I don't want to go too far into it. But, you know, I do believe this, like, even having this group, I think we have to understand we are privileged to even be able to come together and have some kind of union. I don't even know anybody on here outside of, you know, your wife. So I think that it's great that we have an opportunity to come together and exchange ideologies or mythologies or whatever it is, and just looking at understanding things. So because it can enhance us, you know what I mean? Right. You don't have to work too hard if somebody can give you something, you know. But I appreciate the time y'all let me speak. So thank you.
Oh,
thank you, Leaper. You dropped so many bombs. I just got between everything. Everybody's dropping. I appreciate
Beyonce, go ahead. You had your hand up.
And I do want to read.
No, my husband did.
Rose lady said something on Facebook. She said, and this was in response to what Leaper wrote, not only do you see who others truly are, you get to see who you really are.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. That's
Alvin?
Yeah. the word comes, y'all are dropping knowledge, really, and it's powerful. And this is the village right now, and the time to bring the village together and to understand the purpose in ourselves, as Bianca would say. It took the pandemic to make this happen. That's why we sit home, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. And now we just got to stay here when we're not in a pandemic and know what got us to where we are tomorrow, what took us there on the journey. Evenly yoked come to my mind with balance and the other words you used. And evenly yoked comes with a season. Everything comes in a time and a place and a season. Night allows day to take place.
Right.
Yes.
And so if you take it out of season, it's very difficult to be balanced. Right. And so in order to know the season, that's what you have to become to learn with you and the spirit in you, with God saying, or this conversation like we're having, allow us to come into the season. And I'm not getting ready to preach, but then to get into the season, then that serenity prayer kicks in. Right. And when that serenity prayer kicked in, you there. That's right. You're there. And quote the serenity prayer to him, Ken.
We want to hear from Priscilla too.
All right. What is the serenity prayer? I don't want to say it wrong. You pulling it up?
Yeah, I'm sending it. Pulling it
God
up.
grant me the serenity to change the things I
cannot change.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change.
Okay.
To change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
Wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
There you go.
All
good.
Right.
Thank you, Pastor.
All right. We're going to
hear from Priscilla and Johnny. They want to hear from the Roberts. Oh,
Al,
we got Deacon Al want to come in on
Go ahead, Al. I think I got your cell phone down there. Can you speak?
Yes.
Can you hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, I got it on. I got the speaker on my on my landline.
Yeah, we muted it. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for letting me know about this. You know, this is the first time I've sat in on your core meeting. I've really listened to what's happening. I'm quite impressed with the knowledge that's being, given out, freely received and freely given it. It's really been, I find myself just sitting and listening to all the different expressions of life, where people, the different people that speaking their point of view of life.
Okay.
And you spoke of, me being a golden jewel. I'm very proud to be a golden jewel. And more, I find that by being a golden jewel, one of the things I find is that I can sit and listen, and I don't have to be the center of attraction. As a matter of fact, one of the greatest things, one thing I used to always remember when that I heard when I was being quite boisterous, you might say, is that the person that is in a crowd, the person that is the most fearful, that's the loudest person.
Yeah.
The loudest person is the most fearful person.
Right.
That's powerful.
And that's why you get still water runs deep.
Right.
But I'm learning. I'm saying all that to me. I'm learning that I find quite interesting to just to listen to all of you, and it's very nice. The young people have quite a bit to say, and I listen, and the more I listen, the more I hear, and I can apply it to me.
All right.
And like you say, you speak of the village. That's nice also. That's very nice, because no man is an island.
Right.
That's right. Social.
So, but yeah, I'm just honored that I'm able to And I thank you, Elder, for always letting me know about this Zoom thing, you know?
No
Now,
problem.
I see that you got it on Wi-Fi, but I mean, you got it on Facebook.
Yep.
I didn't try it, but I just tried it with my landline, and then that's the voice, and the video is my cell phone.
There we
Gotcha.
go. Look at you doing it.
But yeah, but it ties up every. You know, I'm tired. I guess I could hear a beep. I guess if somebody was trying to call. You know, but anyway, I'm really enjoying the both of you and your family, as I always say. You got a beautiful family. All of you are. I give thanks to the God of Israel for Israel the world over. And you know, Reverend DeAndre really did good too. I was quite impressed with how the God of Israel was speaking through him.
Right.
There we go. That's right.
Yeah, you know. But anyway,
we really
anyway,
appreciate that. We really appreciate that, sir. Really appreciate it. Seal, you had your hand up? Yeah. Go ahead.
What I was going to. Oh, I really like when the young man was speaking and when he made mention of an emotional person is far from God. And that really registers with me, because when I find myself acting on more emotions than spiritual awareness, I keep feeling so disconnected. I'm trying to get back, and I'm trying to find, where am I going wrong? And then it seemed like it hit me. It's like I'm totally acting on emotions rather than my spiritual awareness. That was that was very keen for him to speak on that. I appreciated that a lot.
And we got to remember, you know, some people try to teach and tell you to get rid of them. You don't want to get rid of emotions. You just want to be able to navigate in a mature way with the emotions. That's all. That's all.
I don't think you can get rid of them.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. And so people like, get rid of them. No, that's a part of who you are. That was something special that God gave us, to have those emotions, and that's what makes us who we are. It leads to our passion and desires. A lot of times, we just want to make sure that we're controlling them. They're not controlling us. That's the main thing.
And as a matter of fact, being mindful in like the class that we're in, talking about living your best life, and Dr. Uncle Joe says, create a new habit. One thing I'm trying to do is catch myself in not habitually responding to emotion, especially when it comes to my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I don't have to say it right now, and I don't have to say it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I got locked out the house today, and he had changed the locks, and I wanted to
I didn't kick her out, y'all.
I wanted to call him and tell him so bad that I was irritating because I couldn't get in the house. But I said, okay, all right, my new habit is I'm going to reprocess this, and I'm going to wait until a good time to talk about it, not call him in the midst of my locked out irritation.
So you wait until we got in front of all of the community to talk about it. I see what you did. That's what happened.
I passed my test, y'all. But it does feel good to tell you about it right now.
I'm sure.
Look, we do have a Sharon. Latrice Mack says, I knew that she's talking about being in behavioral health, and that she has not been off work since the pandemic. Those that know me know that I'm a person that I love to serve people. I'm a people person. I love to serve and help where needed. I am so thankful for my spiritual foundation, because it has helped me to be able to deal with myself and others.
Wow.
And she's been dealing with her boss, being able to handle a situation that irritated that, and was something, you want to read this part?
Being able to hear you tonight has forced me to face things within myself and to take time to get myself together. Wow.
There we go, y'all. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to Facebook. Shout out to y'all on Zoom. We're not just spending idle time. We are doing self-work.
That's right.
This is self-work.
That's right.
Like the village is working on each other. We tinkering.
And so we want to give you 3 ways that 3 little things that might help you find balance, right? 3 things, application. The first one is I think it's the most important thing, is to take inventory. We need to take inventory, because if we can't acknowledge and find the source of our imbalance, then what'll happen is it'll continue.
Okay.
It'll continue. And some people will leave one church and go to another church and find the same problem at the other church and realize that it had nothing to do with the church. It was you. It had nothing to do with the pastor or the choir. It was you. Some people will get out of this relationship and get into the next relationship and find that they really just attracted the same kind of woman or man. So it was really them. It had nothing to do with the other person. So it is important. I am a believer. Listen, I done made enough mistakes in life that I am a believer in taking accountability for you, for yourself. I don't get into as much as a lot of people devil blaming and Satan made me do it and Lucifer and all that. Kenneth, what did you do to cause this imbalance, to cause this problem? Now, Kenneth, not my wife, not my children, what can you do to change it, right? And to not make the same mistakes over and over and over. Because once it becomes over and over and over, that's really part of your character.
Yeah.
And so now it's a deeper thing that's going on.
That's true.
That's a seed that's in you that needs to be rooted out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so take inventory. That's huge. Number 2, it's only 3. Then write out an action plan. And I think that's what's powerful. And maybe you don't know, maybe you need to get with somebody else. So take inventory and then write out an action plan of how I'm going to get past this if this happens again. And that's part of taking the inventory, learning, seeing the source, looking at the root, the root that's done grew from this source or the seed, and then the little fruits that's caught out of there, the branches and all the little fruits that's done grew off of it, because it becomes like a tree in your life. And it's just like that dandelion. You can go out there and cut that dandelion all day long. If you don't pull it up by its root, it'll just keep growing back and growing back and growing back.
And it doesn't have to be overwhelming when you're taking inventory. Right now, your action plan, you can start just by simply controlling how your day looks. Like we talk about okay, what we got going this week.
Right.
And like we said, you don't get better by accident. So you have to plan, where are you going to take time to get better in your day?
That's right.
And I have found, and there is successful people know how they're going to spend their time.
That's
you
right.
don't let your time just be taken and be thrown to the winds. On the weeks where I don't get intentional about it, I can see a complete difference in my outcome,
right,
and in my frustration level, than when I actually say, how am I going to spend my day? I don't have to say every hour what I'm going to hit, but at least where's my plan? What's on my calendar? And what am I going to work out today?
Right.
Am I going to hit my prayer today? You know, what am I going to do my walk? Like Shell said, at least I know what I plan to accomplish.
That's right. Right. I love that. I love that.
Writing out the action plan.
So, yep. And then the last one, and this one, we talk about it, but you have to do what's good for you, but have God at the center of your life, or have some kind of spiritual, whatever you feel the source of your life is, you need to have that at the center of your life, right? Now, we talk about God because that's what we believe. We teach our children that. But we also teach them that there is a divine you. There is a divine you. So what's mostly in battle is the divine you and the natural you. That's what's mostly in battle. And that's what you're trying to find a place where, and I like what Leifer said, that they don't have to necessarily be equal, but how can they coincide together? How can they work? Because sometimes you're going to be a little more natural. Sometimes you'll be a little more spiritual. But how can I have them work together and not have one just always override and overwhelm the other one? You understand?
That's powerful. Yeah.
Excuse me. So,
that's manageable.
And so then last but not least, y'all, we're going to get out of here, but I want to leave you with something. I said it on Facebook and I've been saying it. I said it some months ago. I said it at church. So if you've heard me say it before, for those that haven't, 2 words, and balance is so important: celebration and anticipation. 2 words. Most people will tell you that they should be separate. But what I found in my life and in my meditation and prayer, that both of them, they must exist together. Celebration and anticipation. And what I mean by that is, what usually happens is we specialize in one of them at the expense of the other. Some people celebrate, but they don't anticipate. Then you have those people that's always anticipating, but they don't celebrate. So some people really celebrate what God has done, but they don't anticipate the next thing that he wants to do in your life. So they stay stuck in that and they just celebrate that. But he's saying, wait, I got more. And you like, well, I'm just want to celebrate this. But he's like, wait, I got more. He like, I gave you cake, but I got ice cream too. You like, no, I'm just good with this cake. But he like, but if you put this ice cream on it, it's really going to make it good. And so you just stuck in celebration mode. And then you have those others who are always anticipating what God's going to do, but they never celebrate what he's already done. So they're always looking forward to future. And if you're always looking for future or always dwelling in past, you will be imbalanced in your present. You will be imbalanced. You'll just miss it. You'll miss your total present moment if you're always looking forward or always dwelling in the back. You know what I mean? You learn from the past and you look forward to the future, but you celebrate and really make sure you're intentional about your right now. The right now is eternal, because in the next moment, right now is eternal.
Yeah.
You keep taking the right now, eternal,
the eternal
until
now.
You don't have a next now, a right now, and you don't worry about that, but you just enjoy the right now. Is that all right?
That's powerful.
Is that good, guys?
Live in the moment.
I love you guys. I thank you so much. Anybody have any closing thoughts? Excuse me. Anybody have any closing thoughts? We'd like to close us out by playing our song. Shout out to my mom and sister's song and my spiritual sister, Diana. They didn't say nothing, but they there. Auntie Tammy didn't say nothing, but they there. We appreciate all y'all that joined us, each and every one of you, name by name. Your energy was felt, your participation, and your just your willingness to be here. So let's keep going. Follow us at TheCoreofU, TheCoreOF, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Share, y'all. If you like to share it with somebody, like you may drop something they needed just by sharing this message. Beyonce, you had something you want to say?
I just want to say I'm so thankful for the young men that are on here. It's a blessing to see the black men, because I just love me some black men. You guys are just so intelligent, strong, and I just love you guys. And to see young black men, conversing like this and saying some profound things. They're not just rapping your mama, your daddy, nigga in the alley. They talking about some real stuff. And I just really appreciate you guys. Come back next week and bring some of your friends.
All right. That's right. So we'll take you out with our music. Oh, go ahead, Sil. You got something? Go ahead.
I was gonna amen Peggy, because I strongly believe that a race is only as strong as the men in it.
All right.
I believe that.
All right. Wow. All right, Johnny. That means you better work out and be strong, man.
Man, hey, look. I've been working on balance and appreciating balance. I do all the cooking around here, but my baby been cooking for me for 2 straight weeks. And I'm loving it.
All right. Hey, family, we love y'all. Thank y'all for being on with The Core. Take you out a little bit of our song from my sister, A New Day. Make sure you stay balanced. Hopefully one day we'll be at a big venue doing this, and Danielle will be singing this live, right?
Yep. Say it.
Amen.
All right, family. We love you guys. Peace.
Love y'all. Thanks for being with us, man. We appreciate each and every one of you.